I hate recording into this thing because I have very bad self-image problems, and I hate looking at myself in front of a camera and recording videos of myself. But I wanted to come and grab an MPK Mini Mark IV. They're these little mini keyboards. They're about 25 keys, I believe, from a company called Akai. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And they make instruments and audio equipment and stuff like that. And I'm not sure if I'm any good at making music anymore because I stopped doing it for such a long time. But I wanted to come out to Guitar Center to grab myself a new Mark IV. It's the 4th edition of the MPK Mini. And the MPK Mini was, I think, the first MIDI instrument that I ever owned. The Mark I. That was back in like 2009, 2010. And it lasted me for a long time. I think the MPK Mini series of keyboards, the MPK series of keyboards in general, because I have a 249 at home in storage, they hold a special place in my heart because, well, Akai makes the equipment that I've used more than once to make music with. And again, I'm not the greatest musician in the world, but that doesn't matter because the process itself is what makes it worth it sometimes. It's like really fun. I have a song that I did not make with the MPK Mini, but I did make it with the MPK 249, or maybe it's the MK 249. I don't know what the actual nomenclature is, but yeah, I have it in my backpack. I don't know if you can see the backpack, but I'm about to ride home on my bike and hopefully not die before I have a chance to actually use this damn thing. Let's get it. Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, bro? What's going on?
Not much. You probably don't recognize me with my helmet on, but
I do remember you.
yeah, how you doing?
I'm chilling, bro.
You're about to go home, huh?
Yeah, trying to roll.
How was your shift?
Chill.
Good.
I like that.
Yeah, I got a camera, I'm rolling.
I'm probably over here.
Oh, right on. I have one too, but I like the angle right here because
I think I'm gonna try that because I'm tired of that angle.
yeah, it's just a chest strap.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. I'm gonna do that next.
Right safe, bro.
Right, you too, brother.
I'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. So I just stumbled upon this MPK Mini Mark IV today. I was on YouTube and I saw a video on this and I had no idea that this was just released today, October, what was it, 14th? Is it 16th? Today's the 14th, 2025. And well, I wanted to do an unboxing of it live, just off the cuff, because why the fuck not? And before I do that, let's take a look at the box. Let's see what we got here. We got USB-C port, which I don't know if the Mark III had a USB-C port. I have a feeling it was probably still USB-A, although I'm not positive about that. Could be USB-C. The last MPK Mini I had was the Mark I. That was back in about 2009, 2010. And back then, USB-C wasn't even invented yet. So I'm so glad to see that they have opted for USB-C because, well, considering that just about everything these days uses USB-C and it's just a much better USB system than USB-A, I think that that is a good step up. And then, as always, we got a sustain, MIDI out, and looks like they added pitch bend and mod wheels, which we will take a look at shortly. I want to see if the quality of this thing has gotten any better over time. Cool. Flip it back over, put the scissors down, take a sip of coffee. Let's get it open. Awesome. Oh, that feels good. That feels good in the hands, and you get a cable here, but let's put the box aside for now so we can take a look at the contents. All right, so there's the MPK Mini, and we have this pack here with presumably perhaps more information about the software and also that quick start guide. So let's do that first. I'd like to take a look at this. I'm glad they decided to include a cable, although I think with all the electronics out today, if you don't have a USB cable, oh, this is cool. Check this out. Get like a 90-degree angle on that cable. Actually, this is going to be pretty sick. I think I might use this instead of whatever spare cable I have because of that 90-degree angle port there. That's going to come in handy on my laptop. Okay, and then the quick start guide. And I guess that's it. We'll set that aside. And here it is. Throw these aside. Oh my God. This feels like such a trip. It's like a throwback. I have not used one of these in years. I actually have not been involved in anything audio related in quite a few years. I can tell you already that the build quality of this is significantly better than the Mark 1. If you were a fan of MPK's products over the last few years and have been using the Mark 2 or Mark 3, that's probably not that big of a leap. But it's significant enough. Oh, what's up, Manny? It's significant enough of a leap that I notice it's different. Yeah, this is fucking sick. Peel that plastic off. The keys feel similar. If I'm not mistaken, the Mark 1 keys did not have like the full sort of... The white keys were not full like this. They were just kind of like thin slabs, although I could be wrong. Again, it's been years since I've used it. I think the last time I used it was somewhere around 2015. I was out of country and I actually produced a whole album using just the MPK Mini. And yeah, this thing freaking rips. It's awesome. So I'm glad to see that they included 8 of these. What else do we have here? Automation, quantize, some global controls here, some banks. I actually never used this. I have a bank system, like these bank buttons are available on the MPK 249 as well, and I have one of those in storage, but I never learned how to fully use this bank system, or like, you know, see user presets, plug and dawn, shift buttons. There's a lot of these features that I am not sure if I'm going to actually use or if I'm going to be able to learn, hopefully using the QR code here. Yeah, that might be able to, maybe this little thing, this little booklet will teach me a thing or two. The pitch wheel and modulation knob feel great. I remember back when I was playing with the Mark 1, one of the problems that was pretty common with these drum pads here, sample pads, whatever you want to call them, is they were not tuned very well for the sensitivity of your fingers, at least not mine. You had to punch them pretty damn hard in order to get them to register, at least harder than I think most people would have liked. And I actually found a fix for that, which included taking the entire top of the board off and then going underneath the pads and applying electrical tape so that it makes contact with the PCB board a little bit better. And that was a fun project and it helped tremendously. And I'm curious, you know, what these are going to feel like once I actually get this plugged in. But yeah, everything here feels pretty robust. It's definitely a lot better than it used to be. You know, these keys are not weighted. They're definitely flimsy and a little plasticky feeling, but they're not going to break on you if this is built anything like the Mark 1. The Mark 1 has lasted me for many years and it still works. The only reason I'm upgrading is because I wanted to give a crack at this one. Just, you know, well, first of all, you have more knobs here and I think that that would be ideal. And I just want to give this a shot. So I'm going to be fucking with this, making some music at some point, probably tonight. I'm going to plug this in as soon as I can. And I might be able to give some more thoughts on what I think about it after a few days of getting to play with it. There we go. That's bright enough. Just had to show you guys what this thing looks like plugged in. And again, that 90-degree connector cable is a godsend. I love that they give you one of those in the box.
Smoking won't let me get my roach. Been promoting the green and the purest herb. MPs get vexed and they sweat they words. On daytime telly when they blur with her light work. I rep mine, got a sword for the dagger in the best one. Young boy and I'm babbling the best lines. And you know I give a fuck about set times, yeah. Oh, the shams, you can take my sit. Baseline hit, some more 8-line this. Oh, the shams, you can take my sit. Baseline hit, some more 8-line this. Buy me a whip, then I take my pick, then I find me a chick that can make my.
So I slept in on Thursday, like really bad, and then I didn't really get much sleep last night. So this morning, Friday, I woke up at about 7:40 in the morning and I was so tired. And I was like, hey, well, I wanted to still do my initial thoughts, or I guess secondary thoughts, on the Akai MPK Mini, and then put that out in a video. For what reason? I am still wondering that myself, because, you know, about 97% of the people that I have on my Instagram page, and even my YouTube page, I only have like maybe 5 followers on YouTube, but you know, I don't believe that a single one of them is interested in the least in watching me unwrap and talk about a MIDI controller that they are never going to buy and probably are never going to make music with. So this is kind of just me yapping about something that I love because it was interesting to me, and I was trying not to look sleepy in the process, but I think that is inevitable. I'm looking at myself in the camera view here and I feel like I look so tired. But that's okay because I will get plenty of rest tonight. In the meantime, I'm very excited to report that the Mark IV MPK Mini is every bit as awesome as the Mark I was, if not so much better than the first one was, because over time they have improved. And I don't remember what the original price of the Mark I was. I believe it was around $100, maybe $80. And the fact that this is $100 still to this day is awesome, because you're getting such a better product for the same price. You know, inflation, eggs were getting really expensive, gasoline is at an all-time high. It's crazy out here, and so Akai selling this at the same price that they did back in 2009, even though it's been revised 3 times, is, I think, a really cool thing. Enough of the price. You want to know about the product. What does it do? See, back in about 2008, I started making music on my laptop. No, not on my laptop, on a computer in general. It was actually at a friend's house. He showed me this program called Reason by a company called Propellerhead, and I was immediately hooked because everything looks so freaking sick. You can load up instruments and they look like they were modeled after real synths, you know, and drum machines, and everything looks so real and like an actual rack. And then you can press this button to turn the rack around, and there are all the cables, and then you would learn how to do, you know, signal flow from one thing to another, you know, a synthesizer into a compressor into an EQ, and then back up into a freaking mixer. But one of the challenges of doing that is, now that you have all these instruments at your disposal in front of your computer, how do you actually get them to make sound? That's where something like this comes in. The MIDI controller is your gateway, essentially. It is the middleman between your creative thoughts and the actual sounds being recorded in the way that you imagine them to be. There's a drum machine called Kong, which has 16 pads, and you can load up whatever samples you want, or you can create your own samples. And they also have like synth drums that you can tweak. And a lot of these things include not just the drum pads, but synthesizers themselves very often have a lot of controls to work with. You know, you have your oscillators, you have your filters, you have your amp, you know, levers, panning knobs, volume, resonance knobs, all kinds of things to tweak to really dial in that sound. And not just dial it in, some of these things really come out working out like a toy. So as you're recording, you can twist certain things to really, you know, make it sound unique and color the music in whatever way that you want. While you can go in and manually tweak and automate faders and knobs using your mouse or trackpad, using these knobs on here makes it so much easier. You just set it up so that you can, you know, you pick whatever fader, knob, button that you want to control. And then while you're recording on the fly, you can move it so that it records your, you know, movement in real time. And that was a game changer for me when I first learned how to do that. One of the problems that I came across with the MPK Mini, first of all, being so brand new, and second of all, because I use Reason, which is not a very popular program, the problem I ran into is that there was no plug and play full compatibility right out of the box. I don't remember what company it was, but they make a big MIDI controller that has like a motorized fader on it as well. And it was designed with Reason in mind. So as you're cycling through your different tracks, or you move from recording one instrument to another, the MIDI controller is keeping track of what you're doing in software. So it automatically maps your knobs and stuff and you know, pads and everything to match what they believe are the most common controls for the instrument that you're playing. However, this MPK Mini does not do that. You have to manually go in and map each knob to what you want. And you can, once you map a knob, you can disable that mapping or override it and map something else entirely after you're done recording. So really, you could do all your automation work with 1 or 2 knobs if you really wanted to. But again, having those 8 is cool because the more the merrier, right? Now with the drum pads themselves, I use that piece of software called Kong, and Kong has those 16 pads, and those 16 pads are triggered by specific note values that are predetermined by Reason Studios. They're programmed that way. I don't believe there's any way to program them to be triggered by different note values. Middle C, which is note number 36 on a keyboard, at least on this keyboard, I think it's all keyboards, that middle C, note number 36, triggers pad number 1 in Kong, and then each pad after that from 1 through 16 or 2 to 16 is triggered by the next note in the sequence. So pad 1 is 36, pad 2 is 37, pad 3 is 38, so on and so forth. The MPK Mini pads are not, I don't know why, for whatever reason, the note values that they actually trigger don't make any sense to me, but I believe it's because they made it with other software in mind. However, there is a bright side. I was able to go in to the program edit on the actual MPK Mini itself and then individually replace and tune each drum pad with whatever note value I wanted, and then I could save that as a preset, which it will load up every time I plug it into my laptop. And if it doesn't load it up by default, I could always load it up using the user presets button. So it was a little bit of menu diving, and it did not feel very easy to figure out off the bat, but thankfully they do provide the quick start menu, and I think reading this is really important because it does explain how to create your own programs and how to save them. I think there was one last thing I wanted to say. I don't know if I've already mentioned it in this take or not, but the build quality of this thing has improved significantly from the first one. It's still plastic, but the plastic feels so much more robust. There's no bend in this whatsoever. It's very sturdy. All the buttons and all the knobs are very high quality for being plastic. And I think that that is a great step up, you know, for something that, again, has not changed in price even after 5 to 8 years. I don't remember when the first one came out, but it's been a long time. Anyway, that's all thoughts I have for today. If you have watched this far, thank you so much. If you have not watched this far, then you wouldn't be here right now. So thanks again for watching and have a good one. Bye.